Hey everybody, and welcome back for some more Teal Space Engineer Survival shenanigans. Assuming that Twitch is actually working. Yes, it is. It just for a second seems to not be playing nice with me. Last time I managed to get some gold. No, that's not. Oh, that's right. I can't even get it after stupid cargo ships until I get something hydrogen powered. Last time I got some gold, so I need to add some yield modules to my refinery. But I was also thinking about one of the biggest issues with the Teal Terror, which is its ground clearance, or terrifying lack thereof. I think I can still keep this looking kind of how it does, but raise the body a single block. So that would be take off every wheel and drop it down a block, so attaching it off the row that's currently there and then one at this height as well, which should give me enough ground clearance to not bottom out on every single little thing, which would be really, really nice. So I think that's going to be the two projects today. First off is the yield modules though, because if I can get them down, then I get more gold from the gold that I've mined, and that would be good. Where have I got cargo access back here? Nope. So apparently I didn't think this part through, and I might grind this off and replace it with a cargo container so I've got access. Also, thank you so much to Bezariel for subbing while I wasn't even online. Grunwalla for 4 months. Ramonez for 3 months. And Zeronut for 14 months. Also, Rafa, thank you so much for 21 months. And helping me be able to do this as my job instead of having to do that other thing that I really, really don't like. Why have I got 2 sets of tools? How have I got 2 sets of tools? That's very odd. Very odd indeed. Hey, thanks, JMD, for 4 months. I was asked just before the stream started about why I stream where I do when I do. Because obviously I stream here, I stream on Flipsy, and I stream on my main channel, Splitsy. In general, the streams on my main channel are things that are kind of like big, important series to me. So that means something that I'm expecting to do a lot of work on when I'm not streaming. So with Wrong Way Up, I did a lot of stuff with organizing the bots, setting up their rules of engagement so that we can have a fun experience for both them, but mostly for us and you guys watching. So stuff that's going to take a bit more work on that front, and often when I'm sort of in between edited series, because a stream series, at least at the start, usually doesn't take as much time out of my week, although Wrong Way Up certainly does these days. The stuff that I stream here on Twitch is mostly stuff that I'm like, yeah, this could be a bit of fun. And then the stuff I stream on Flipsy is stuff that I'm like, yeah, this could be a great game for chatting, or it's a game that looks so much better in 1440p that I want to stream it in 1440p. Because obviously, I like streaming directly to YouTube because the chat stays with it without being me having to overlay it on my screen. And I think you all know, based on the fact that I almost never use a crosshair, I don't like clutter on my screen. So for me to use on-screen chat would be kind of against that ethos. So I like the heavier chatting things. So like when I was playing my Ravenhurst save, that was me very much just chatting. So it was kind of nice having the chat saved with the VOD. But yeah, that's kind of the reasons. Thanks, Dark Eagle. We should have enough now. For those of you who weren't aware prior to there you go. That's my justification. It all kind of started, though, with the streaming directly to the Flipsy channel when I was still using the office that Capac and I used to have. As in, we rented out a specific business space. And the internet there was so bad, connecting to Twitch, that I had to figure out a new solution. And my solution was stream directly to YouTube, because it was a Twitch-specific problem. Which sadly does seem to be something that other Twitch partners are experiencing from time to time in Australia. So it wasn't just me. Thankfully, it's not me with my current internet provider. Yes, Mavelite, I could have just said because I want to. But I don't know, I think... I'm guessing because you guys are hanging around here, you agree with me on this. But I think it's nice to know the thinking behind some stuff. Because then you can be like, that seems sensible. Or, Splitsy, you're nuts. Why wouldn't you just do this thing that's so much simpler? And sometimes I agree with you. Sometimes the things you suggest are simpler than what I've done. Others, they're not. Yeah, Jax. I don't know that a bot life is an easy life, but yes, we spawn, we die, we spawn again. I would say that the bot life, it's a tough one, but hopefully you guys do enjoy it enough that it's worth it. Because I know playing the bad guys and always having to lose can be a tough thing to do for very long. Now, I wouldn't normally do full-on yield modules, but I think in this case it's justified. Yeah, Fred, that's good timing. Pizza in a string. Oh, yeah. Dan, that was a really good little animation you did. But, oh, hang on. Hang on a sec. Let's quickly... So, not everything that's on Twitter is evil. There are things like... Oh, actually, is this going to be... There's audio to this, and maybe I'll just link it instead, just in case this is copyrighted and it's going to cause me issues. Wasted posted it. Posted Ecto's animation of Wrong Way Up. Called Wrong Way Out, which is actually done really, really well. Thanks, Serenity, for 8 months. Twitch baby next month. We are calling it Capacaliciously Steve Splats. Cool. That's done. Let's get some pistons. Let's lift this thing up. Ow. Drills are good. Let's get them out of the way. And off. And off. And control. Retract. And reverse. Okay, that's got to be a slightly good sign that having made this so long ago, I still remember how it goes together. Like, how to actually use it. Because I made it just barely simple enough to remember. Cool. If I got rid of all the stone, can I get rid of my temporary refineries? Oh, I was getting rid of the cobalt as well, wasn't I? So I had so much, and I had unnecessarily much. We'll leave them now then. Pistons, pistons, pistons. And I don't have to worry about that thunder and lightning and stuff because they were stupid and I got rid of them. Where can I stick this that's going to let me put landing gear on it? Not going to be in the way. Should still let me place the wheel, I think. Hello, landing gear. Normally I have a landing gear somewhere on my hotbar. Yeah. Dark Crow, Survival Impossible will be returning very soon. I have actually recorded the next episode. I finished recording it last week. It's about 7 hours of recording, or 7.5 hours of recording across the 2 sessions that I spent recording. So it's gonna take a while to edit, I think. But I feel good about it. I think there'll probably be like 1 or 2 more ridiculously long recordings like that before it's at a point that I've oh dear. Am I just too heavy for the piston? Oh no, needed the non-axis force because it was going to be twisted. Yeah, so that's not going to be high enough, is it? I'm not sure I'm going to be able to place the other ones on. Yeah, so Survival Impossible will return once I've edited that. Obviously, that's going to take a bit of time. And yeah, I think there are a few more episodes that need to be that long in order to get something meaningful done in the episodic format. And that's kind of, being brutally honest with myself, I think part of what made it so delayed to come back was that I knew there was that much to do, and it was kind of a bit of a... It felt like a huge task to get through it. And kind of scared me off from coming back to it because I wasn't sure I had the skills to make something like that interesting. Hopefully that little bit of self-doubt was wrong and I have made it interesting. But I guess we'll find out when I actually get the thing done. Yeah, I'm editing 7.5 hours down to a single episode because the way I've always approached editing Space Engineers is that there's stuff that feels like a full episode, and to have something that feels like a full episode in Space Engineers, you need to have had a certain amount of stuff happen. If enough stuff doesn't happen, it doesn't feel like a full episode, so to speak. It just feels like some stuff happened, but not enough, and it kind of It always leaves me wanting more, and not feeling like there's any sort of story going on, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Oh good, I can place them. Do I want to do it that way? Or do I want to try something different? I think I want to try something different. Maybe instead we go with just these. No. These ones. This look weird? The other angles I've got? No, I think that could be okay. Especially if I, instead of smoothing it off with these bits, I smooth it off with these bits. Also, I have just put light armor where I wanted to put heavy. There we go. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, Zero Nut. Recording with Capac does tend to reduce the amount of time spent recording. Largely because I find that I tend to edit stuff because I think our conversation that we're having is interesting. I just replaced light with light. What am I doing? Whereas, you know, there comes a point when talking to yourself, you're like, is that even interesting anymore? I should probably just cut that bit out, right? Yeah, I'm going to cut that bit out. And then I cut that bit out. And that bit can sometimes be like half an hour of me talking. I am giving I'm giving the Rover a lift kit, I guess. I'm hoping the extra 2.5 meters of clearance will be enough to, well, one, it's going to open up the interior space a bit because I'll have more room that the suspensions aren't taking up, but two, it should allow me to get over some small bumps that I couldn't even pass over before.
Inventory full.
So hopefully that'll be good.
Inventory full.
I was I don't think dropping them 2 blocks is worth my while. Or is it? What I might do, let's drop one side this far and see where it ends up. And then I'm going to have a look at, and then I'll mess with the other side and we can kind of, instead of, before I weld anything up, have a look at what the other side will look like.
Inventory
So I have an idea. If I drop it down 2 blocks, I could even bring the wheels in underneath the Rover a little bit, narrowing its stance a bit. I think at the time I was making, like I first started laying this Rover out, we'd rolled a bit in wrong way up, so I was quite conscious of having the weight distribution such that I wasn't going to be high, like, have a high center of mass and be toppling over. Well, poop. full of rock or something, are you? Don't think so. Unlock thrusters on. No. Okay. What the? Oh. I thought there was a drone going overhead. It's just my unknown signal's shadow. Thanks, Zamish. Pineapple, no, I do not think you can import your own texture things for the blocks because of the way they're set up with the DLC related things. Don't think you can. Alright, I'll get this unknown signal. It's right here. I have not seen a single mod to be able to do it, and I think that's because you can't. But you know what they say about if an elderly but experienced something, I can't remember the exact words of the quote. Oh, graffiti suit. If an elderly but experienced scientist says something is possible, it almost certainly is. If they say it's impossible, it almost certainly isn't. Or something like that. But yeah, the skin system is locked down from mods as far as I'm aware. So it is not available to modding.
Inventory full.
Considering our open space engineers is about pretty much everything else, I guess I complain too much. I'm sure people will complain and do complain, but me personally, I'm like, eh.
Inventory full.
Right. So, what I was thinking of doing with these, I don't have advanced welding. Okay, we have to use merge blocks. So, I need a bit of space. What I'm thinking of doing is picking up these batteries with the real Teal. And getting them to merge into place. Hoping I can make that work. Right, so if I just need to figure out where I need to put the merge blocks. I think. Lining up. The batteries are on this row. So if I have a merge block here, and then I can put another one on here. Then I can try and gently knock it over and then pick it up with the landing gear.
Fuel low.
Oop.
Fuel critical.
And then hopefully fit it through that gap. That's the bit I'm going to try and figure out how I'm going to make enough room. Might need to get rid of these speed modules. Get rid of that. Get rid of these. Basically, I need to have a bit of an extra block space, otherwise this is going to be either a nightmare to get in there or it'll clang out. Images on LCDs are a totally separate thing to grid, to the paint system. So this skin system locked down, not for modding, because it's where their DLC tends to add stuff. As you can see, these are the... well, that's vanilla, that's vanilla, that's vanilla, and that's vanilla. The rest of these are part of the DLC pack. Thanks so much, Legend of Frost. Thanks for the 10 gift subs. Thank you very much. Right, I think that'll work. Let's get stuff for a landing gear proboscis. Yes. Now I just need a rotor and 3 pistons. No, I do not. This should be doable without such a thing. Now, can I pick this up? This should probably have been test number 1. So let's just knock it over to its side. So that's the way I wanted it to be. Oh, seriously? Was a little worried that was going to cause some damage. I'll admit. Ah, easily pick it up. Cool. But that's a problem. I don't have the head clearance. Alright. If I drop it down and I pick it up as close to the ground as possible, I might not need as much clearance. I've picked it up right at the top instead of right at the bottom. Oh, hang on. Even better idea. There we go. No, don't topple over. That wouldn't be nice. Hooray! My fighter was had utility outside of shooting things. Phew. Now let's get rid of that extension. And have left the landing gear on my hotbar, which means I will later on go, what block was that? Why do I have a block that's not on my hotbar anymore? Yes, indeed, Groz. Have more ways that battery is connected. Why was the... Wait, did I... Oh, no. No, I didn't stick at one. Too many in, did I? Yeah, 3 blocks between. There are 3 blocks between these batteries and the ones on the other side. Yep. I'm confused. How did those... Was there a hole in my floor? How did they drop off? Oh, yep, I see it now. I see it now. Don't mind me. I dum-dum. I see it now. I ground off the blocks underneath it because they're these shaped ones and I wanted to replace them. They were the only blocks holding it in place. Yep. To be fair, Karma's Evil Twin, most of my series in Space Engineers avoid going to space. Just, that's it. It's not single player stuff, it's just, in general, I don't tend to spend much time in Space Engineers. I think it's because I find the challenges on planet more interesting than the challenges in space. Space is easy mode. Yeah. Space is easy mode in Space Engineers, so it's like, well... No! Survival Unlikely with Capac was not mostly space-based. The vast majority of that series was spent on Earth-like at the start, then we got to space, went to Mars rather quickly. Well, actually, then we got to space, went to the moon, hung out on the moon for ages. Then we hung out on Mars for ages, and then we hung out on the alien planet and in an asteroid for ages. But most of those were planets. It's where I have more fun in Space Engineers. It's nothing else. It's just where I have fun. So yeah. There's nothing grand beyond that. And traversing between planets is not interesting to watch, so it makes more sense just to stick with one place. Survival Unlikely was also the only one where I played with scarce resources, where the resources spread across multiple places. Although technically Survival Impossible has that, but I've somehow managed to make that not matter. Which is, you know, a thing. Okay, so that's one side. Let's do the other side and see if I can figure out a way to make him brought under the deck a bit and 2 blocks lower. Thanks, Omni5.
Full.
When the asteroid could be moved, imagine the builds, the chaos, the meteor showers. Yes. No, I have not found silver in Survival Impossible.
Inventory.
But
full.
with the addition of the new weapons to Space Engineers, it kind of changes a little bit of how Survival Impossible might work, because I can now build autocannons and things that can put out a bit more damage. So I'll have to think about how I'm going to get enough magnesium to supply that. Yeah, that's all stuff I'll talk about in Survival Impossible rather than here. So otherwise you'll get to the episode and be like, I swear I've heard Splitsy say this before. Why does he say the same things?
Inventory.
Thanks, Max Longhaul.
full.
Thanks for 6 months. There is no set date for when Survival Impossible is returning, but it is going to be in April. I have made that promise and I'm sticking to it. So Mondays... So for my week, Monday is survival... is Wrong Way Up. And...
Inventory full.
the way it is and the size of the audience and that sort of thing, I find it takes a lot out of me, and I can't really... I've really struggled to make the rest of my day productive beyond just tinkering with stuff. So I tend to use Monday afternoons to tinker with designs, with series concepts, just stuff that's sort of behind the scenes. I've never managed to find a way to be productive in terms of editing or recording. Tuesdays,
Inventory
because
full.
I've been streaming with Wasted and Capac in RimWorld, I like to do a little bit of solo stuff before that, because I hadn't been doing much solo streaming for a bit, and I kind of missed it. So I like this. I like the chatting with you guys and having the heavy chat interaction, which is harder to do in larger group settings.
Inventory
When it's just
full.
Capac and I, we both just tend to treat each other's chat as our own, and I think that works for us too. But as soon as you add extra people to the mix, that doesn't really work anymore. So I like to have some solo streams so I can just have a lot more interaction. And that's why and this was a good slot because I'm usually up
Inventory
way
full.
earlier than suits Capac and Wasted to start. So I was like, yeah. So that's my Tuesdays that spent all day streaming. And then Wednesdays are when I do editing / recording at the moment. So that's when I recorded. The last 2 weeks I spent Wednesday recording Survival Impossible, and I will probably do some editing on it this week.
Inventory full.
Drills do give cargo access. That is true. I don't know why I think it's that habit of avoiding them because they don't often work with Build Planner properly. As in to get stuff out. To put stuff in, they work just fine, but to get stuff out, they don't usually work as well because there's so many subgrids involved. Alright, let's get rid of this. And grab some more. Steel plate. Yes, Alt middle mouse is the drop all the stuff I'm carrying button. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to place these ones. They may actually be too low. So, I was thinking I'd go to here. So that wheel could not be placed because my head was in the way or because the ground is in the way. Ground is in the way. Let's just whack on another piston. No, that's not what I wanted. So I'll just lift it off the middle here. Yeah, it's weird that the bug with subgrids not grabbing everything that you want is intermittent. Which makes it hard to deal with. Matcha, at the moment, traveling overseas is hard. I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet. I absolutely intend to do more travel in the future, but timing on that is unknown. As for the doggo, she's doing okay. She's still got some sort of skin condition going on.
Low.
That I've booked her into the vet for again.
Fuel critical.
But she's still happy. Training's going well, all that stuff. Must have missed something, just started watching and Splitsy has no wheels. Yeah, but for once this time it wasn't me crashing. It was me deliberately removing the wheels to prevent future crashes, potentially. Okay, so unfortunately the daylight is on the wrong side of the Rover, but we have dropped by 2.5 meters, which I think still feels like the old design, but should give me some extra ground clearance to help. Or we've got the new one, which very much looks lifted. Oh yeah, I know those are light armor. I don't even know if that's the style of block I'm going to use. I was just trying to get the wheels in quickly so I could get an idea of how it's going to look. So, if we look from the rear, which do you guys reckon? The right or the left wheels? Let's just do a quick poll. Which wheels? Right, left. Start. Just curious what you guys think. Oh, I accidentally left vote with bits on. Oh well. Oh, it's fairly even split. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Marimore. The right probably looks more fitted with this style, but the left are more functional. Left with a belly-slung exploration rover bay. You know how to speak my language, Dragnon. That is an interesting idea. The left is also massively ahead on the poll at 101 to 33. Oh, yeah, that's actually an issue. If I do the left side, that's 5 meters less deep than my drills can go. However, this gold was one of the deeper deposits that I had to go to, and I was actually able to dig well through it. Like, I still had heaps more extension to go. So I'm not sure that's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's left, okay. Alright, let's work on left then. I don't think... So I think looking at this, even with the left style of wheels, it's not really that high a center of mass. Like, if I do this, we draw it out, that's still quite a wide, not very high box. Like, that's still not going to want to roll. I think. No, I should be able to fit a little open bay in the center if I do it right. I'm kind of interested in the idea of trying to fit something into 3 blocks that can hold a miniature rover for driving around and being ridiculous with. The other thing is, if because we've now got the steel panels, the rover bay could actually just be the panels at the bottom, and I just drop myself down on my wheel suspensions until this touches the ground, then you drive off, you drive back on in the same bit, lift up and drive off in the big rover. Indeed, Croz. Oh, Capac. So, the bots kind of told us in... no, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about it. It makes me too angry. Suffice it to say, Capac does not give good directions in Space Engineers. In fact, the only person who I feel like has given me directions that I've been able to follow sensibly was DE the second time he did it, and Wasted. Because I think Wasted takes into account my usual terrible sense of direction when he gives me directions. The others seem to forget that. And go, but oh, you should know. I don't know. Okay, wheels. Wheels, wheels, wheels. How do I make dropping it down here look any good? Maybe this'll work? Maybe? No. So what I'm thinking is keep
Energy
the solid
low.
stuff up the front, and at the back I'll put the open bit for the underslung Rover. It doesn't look so turtle-ish with this. It looks a bit more insect-like, I think. Yes, Capac searched diligently, and the path he picked had a very nice, easy, flat spot for him to land to make the GPS I asked for. Yep. Yep, that's the way Capac's mind works. Then, this side, I will do... that. I think? Maybe? I think that'll look alright. Maybe? I don't know. We'll have to see once it's actually welded up. But I feel like I'll need more of that armor look across the front just to kind of tie in with the rest of it. Nothing's wrong with turtles. I liked that it looked like a turtle. I'm just saying I think it looks more like an insect now. Okay, let's figure out this rear bit next. Oh, actually, no, I should go down the line. It's easy to work out which wheel's which. Should Might be okay to keep going with just heavy blocks. And then figure out the attachment, like the style around it after I've welded up the wheels. Just wanted to get that front bit down. Yeah. Any rover that's going to fit in 3 blocks wide is going to be quite small, so I don't need it to be particularly long, this space down here, but I will need to have an access to it, which means I may have to mess around with my airlock down here. Ooh, actually, I can have the ladder come down to this level, and then I walk along down the length under a connector or something. Maybe. There we go. So how does it look now that they're both balanced? Yeah, that's going to be a fair bit better clearance. Because remember, these wheels are also not as low as they go. They drop another 1.5 meters down. Okay, now for the tough bit, which is figuring out how I'm going to do these plates in such a way that I've created a small hangar space. And yet still somehow look and be strong. So I think I basically have to do this. I don't think I've got too many choices. It has to just be panels for the length that the rover bay is. That's not a front mini wheel, that's a rear mini wheel. That was for protection. It's gonna have to go. It was because I kept bottoming out and destroying this expensive stuff at the rear. Let's go now.
Fuel low.
Uh-oh.
Energy low. Fuel critical. Energy critical.
How much space do I have above here now that I've cleared out a bit of room? Could I have this thing piston mounted? I would have to do a very big internal redesign on the rover, I think. So, okay, let me organize my thoughts and explain them in a more useful manner. So what I'm thinking is, I've got 2 choices. I can have this as an open bay that I just drive into, lock onto the connector, and then I can drive back out when I lower the rover down. Or I can hope that the block collisions would allow me to have a little box that I raise up into the rover and I push down with a piston and drive out. Wasn't I supposed to be giving myself more ground clearance, not ending up with the exact same amount? Yes, I was. Though, I've sort of gotten more ground clearance, or better ground clearance now. I haven't got more, but I've got better now than I did before, because instead of being 5 blocks between the wheels suspensions, there's now 3, which brings the wheels 5 meters closer together, making it much less likely to hit something. Yeah, I don't think there's enough space above for me to do a proper piston mounted thing. Yeah, no, that won't be an option, unfortunately. But one thing that should be an option here is this. I'm not keen on the way that the plate's looking. Why do I keep pressing? It's such a habit. I think I can still fit a little Rover in here even if I lose a little bit of this width. I think if I had these instead. Ah! Let's stop changing your hotbars. Or is that too narrow for a 3x3 wheeled small grid Rover? How big does it go? What?
No energy.
Let's see how wide a narrow 3x3 wheeled Rover is. Oh, that's right, I moved my survival kit, didn't I? I know it's looking a bit tight, but if I don't make it tight, it'll look weird because the plates just don't look strong enough to me. A mono wheel, build another twin stick shooter. No, it's a bit of a pain to ride. No. So 3x3 would be... helped if that actually looked to the ground like the normal landing gear do. So how many blocks is this wide? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah. That gives me like 25 centimeters each side to drive in with 2 large grid blocks. It's doable. Yeah, it's doable. Could you mount the wheels onto hinges, have them fold onto the vehicle for storage? I quite like that idea, Dork Enigma. Someone remind me that when I actually go to build this thing. Because obviously there's plenty of work to be done on the large Rover first. But yeah, I'm sticking with this roof design. Storage area design. Because I think it needs to feel this robust to work. Anything less and it'll kind of... yeah, it just won't feel right. To me, anyway. given that's how narrow it is, probably only need this to be 4 blocks long. Like that. And then we just have the panels below. Cool. Yeah, with hinges, I could have a wider stance on the wheels, and then when we drive in, we just kind of go up onto the corners of the wheels. Because in Space Engineers, the wheel collision mesh is actually a sphere. It doesn't matter if you're not running on the... It doesn't really matter which surface you're running on. That should work fairly well. I mean, yes, it'll have to be controlled by the subgrid wheel control script, but that's fine. For a little scout rover, that could be kind of cool. And also cool just because it's unnecessary. Yeah. Cool. Alright, let's weld up these wheels and then I can unlock myself. Because I was still searching for silver here. So, my plan for access to this is to have a walkway that goes down to where my other ladder is. That's my plan. Don't know if that plan will stay the case, but it's the plan for now. Yeah, trike designs don't really work in Space Engineers because of the way that the suspensions are mounted. You can't really mount one centrally. Properly, anyway. Yeah, I didn't make this thing narrow enough to fit down there. Would have been perfect. Hey, when you're playing a game, and what you're doing is fun, that's all that matters. Necessary, unnecessary, logical, illogical. Meh. Oh, the thrusters might cook the walls a little bit, but if you're careful, you can pretty easily get away with doing meaningful damage. I really wish I had that silver. welding up large grid is painful. Large grid, heavy armor, I should say. Yeah, see, trikes with skids are a pain to steer. You actually need that little bit, you need that friction on the third contact point to be able to steer a trike properly. I've tried making them before, and yeah, skid wheels on trikes are awful. The welder sounds the same to me. So I'm thinking I'm just going to weld up the armor blocks that I kind of need for this, and then I'll get the wheels done. I just don't want the wheels to be attached by blocks that aren't actually built. It seems like a recipe for disaster. Well, Dragnon motorbikes have the same issue as a trike, so making it a sidecar or not doesn't really change the primary issue of these suspension mounts are huge, and there's no fork type suspension for Space Engineers that works reliably. So you kind of, it's just not a thing that really works. The Absconder in Survival Impossible, being a motorbike of sorts, kind of shows how big you have to go to make it work, which kind of breaks the whole idea. And even it ended up with extra wheels because riding it around using overrides that stop you from steering is unpleasant. No, Lohin, I have not experienced a bug where the wheels have no friction.
Fuel low. Fuel critical.
Yeah, Dorkaniga, but if you're adding two wheels, so if you're doing a front wheel design that's both suspensions pointing inwards, you're not making something narrow. You're making something that's wider than if you just used a single column of blocks down the middle. So it's kind of, again, it kind of, ow! Whoops. I was eventually going to hit those hydrogen thrusters. You're actually making things worse, not better, for the situation that I'm in right here. Where am my stuff at? One thing I didn't do with the little test design was you actually don't need to have an armor block in the middle between the wheels. You could go with even symmetry. And if I went with even symmetry, I can have something that's got a meter of clearance against these two walls, so I should be able to get in and out pretty easily. Bits. Oh, I thought it was actually night, not just storm. And now to weld the wheel. Yes, performing an armor test with my head. Confirmed, still deadly. See, even symmetry for rovers isn't as bad as it used to be. Because we've now got the Rover cockpit, which is even. It's 2 blocks wide. So it's almost like if you're making a single seater with one of them, it has to be even symmetry. Both, Laws, both. Both my head and the armor are still deadly. God. Oh, reds. Sure, you can go there. Should I have built a welder vehicle? Probably not. Once I get these done, I won't want it for anything else. Man, I want it right now. Would have taken me longer than welding these up. I kind of never use welder vehicles for as long as I imagine when I build them. Mavelite, I wouldn't want to make a mod that relies on DLC blocks behaving differently to vanilla blocks, which is kind of what you're suggesting with warfare batteries behaving differently to regular ones. Largely just so that it's sticking with Keen's philosophy of not making DLC blocks better than the regular ones. I think even if it's with mods, people will get upset about it. That's the way people are on the internet. But if it's, if you want it that way, then fair enough. But it wouldn't be something that I'd be aiming for. I tend to try my best when thinking about how to change Space Engineers, go along with the way things are currently done. Awesome Tommaso, I've never seen any mods that really mess with block deformation in any in a big way. Some of the armor balancing reduces how much they deform, but not the way they deform. I think it might be because it's quite core code. Warfare batteries exist just because they look nice. They've got some really good elements to them that make them useful for various designs, especially the large grid ones. But I quite like the small grid ones now that I've started messing around with them. They do have that extra rugged quality to them. Ugh. I did not remember how long it took me to weld these up the first time. Well, I guess, yeah, even if you normally bury your batteries in armor, large grid you don't have to, because you'll have an internal space, so you can have them exposed on the internal, and surfaces like this on the battery, kind of add some extra detail to your walls if you use them right. For those wondering about why I'm using 5x5s instead of 3x3 wheels, it's because I want to. Because I haven't in a long time and I wanted to. I want to get driving before sunset. Let's get this finished. So I kind of want to be able to drive this thing and see whether it actually feels like I've got something better than what I had before, or whether it feels the same, and as Graz pointed out, I haven't actually increased my ground clearance, I've just narrowed my wheelbase. I'm just hoping that narrowed wheelbase is enough to make a difference. Why? He's reading chat and talking about exploding toilets.
Energy low.
Yeah, Edric, it's true. The crumple zone of armor is certainly greater with this design, so I'm less likely to knock out my cargo container, I'm less likely to knock out my thrusters, all that sort of thing. So yeah, even if this is the same ground clearance, it is a safer design in a lot of ways. Although, I do have a feeling this Scout Rover is going to end up like Texas Fire Truck a few times. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the latest Wrong Way Up and you'll see. Unfluffy Dave, they've sort of made it better so that crumpling blocks don't damage other things, but they still do. There certainly seem to be situations where you still take damage like you used to. Whether it's now a different factor that's causing it, I'm not sure, but it very much seems to be the same issue, just slightly less often than it used to be.
Energy critical.
I was meaning to try out, there's a mod for Pertum which changes the sky so it's got less bloom, because the bloom here is a bit excessive. I was meaning to try that out for this stream, but I couldn't remember what it was called. Yeah, Tommaso, Campac and I have PAX tickets. We have both bought them. I think sometime in May we'll start hearing whether we've gotten creator passes. And then in July we'll find out if we, if my idea for a PAX panel will be accepted, and then we'll get panelist passes instead. The nice thing about the creator passes and the panelist passes is you get to access the show floor an hour before everyone else.
No energy.
Yeah, Legend of Frost, I think you're right. It probably will end up like Texas Fire Truck. But that's half the fun, isn't it? Then you get to iterate on your design. How often does it happen that you decide to do something and then thought Capac would approve and promptly changed your mind? You know what? I think it happens equally often that I think, Capac would like this. Yeah, I'll do it. As I think that happens as often as Capac would like this. Ooh, that's probably a bad idea then. I don't think it's strongly one way or the other. Like, one of the reasons we're friends is we are similar in a lot of ways, which is probably why he and I can annoy each other so much. Because we know exactly which buttons to push. Oh yeah, that'd probably be it. Are you serious? But yes, there is equally the, Capac will hate this. Yes, I'm doing it. That one's pretty much a guaranteed. If I think Capac will hate it, in a way that is amusing to me, then I will do it. Capac will hate it in terms of he won't ever want to play this game with me again. Not so much. Because despite everything, I actually do want to keep playing games with him. It's just... that's how our friendships evolved over the decades. Yeah, the dogfights in Wrong Way Up have been fun. Not sure what I'd do differently with a series like this in the future. One thing I will do differently is I think I'd like to do stream series on my main channel only during the Australian summer. The reason for that is the time changes that go along with daylight saving. Because as it comes into my winter, the time difference between myself and Europe becomes a lot smaller. And so Wrong Way Up is currently starting at midnight UK time, which is a bit late. Yes. There is the concept of mutually assured annoyance. There's also the concept of guaranteed second strike capabilities. In terms of Capac and I annoying each other. Yeah, I'm not thinking of wasted sleeping hours. I'm thinking of the more common sleeping hours that people in Europe and the UK might have had. But yeah, when Wrong Way Up wraps up, the Wasted, Capac and myself have a plan to do a series together. That'll be more Wasted's set to Wasted's time, and he'll be the host. Because I don't think it's fair for me to always be the host and have the better ping. So that'll be coming afterwards, but I will probably do something solo, some sort of solo stream in the morning, and the one with Wasted, that next series probably won't be on the main channel. It'll potentially be either here. Actually, it'll probably be here. I think it'd be nice for all three of us to be on Twitch. Squad stream and the like. It's bold of you to assume Wasted even sleeps. I think he sits on his chair and recharges wirelessly. Wasted recharges by reminiscing about his RC car driving. Yes, you're so right, Groz. Oh man, the number of times I've popped into late hours for Wasted, like, you know, 14 hours into his stream and he's talking about his RC car days. In a lot of ways it makes me envious. Because he certainly learnt a lot about the way suspension and motors and stuff works from that. But I think there's it's one of the reasons why Wasted's interesting to listen to. He's got interests outside of just what he's playing at the time. He'll either talk about his music, his whatever else. I think a serious Wasted versus Kanajashi competition stream is not going to happen. I don't think that would be an enjoyable experience. However, I do hope that after the finale of Wrong Way Up, we can all do like a post-stream chill-out session together, where we'll probably do things like all in creative mode, shooting each other with our planes, doing some of that even on Wasted server, so he gets to experience flying his planes against other people where he has good ping, and target leading is not also ping leading. So I reckon there could be some mucking around there, and depending on the time of day where the Kanajashi can hang around for all that. But yeah, that'll also be involving the bots and their builds and stuff like that. I just plan on having something really chill to kind of celebrate the fun that we've had over the now basically 6 months that it's run. Which is quite a long time in terms of a stream series. Yeah, something like that, Tommaso. Yeah, the clip show thing that a lot of shows will do, where the cast sit around talking, reminiscing, going over the highlights, that sort of thing. I think it's a nice sort of way to wrap something like this up, especially because we've had so many people involved. Like, when you think about it, Wrong Way Up has been the 5 main people streaming, plus at least that many again as bots who are there fairly regularly, plus maybe another 3 or 4 who are there whenever it works with their time off from work. So it's a pretty large crew of people. Just the core group is 10. Yeah, I think some of the bots might want to talk afterwards, but I think it's also Like, how many people can you have sitting in voice chat before it just becomes people talking over each other? And also some of them don't want to talk on camera. Like, be recorded, streamed. And I totally get people who don't like hearing their own voices. I'm used to my voice, but I still find that
Energy low.
I can't remember. Always when editing stuff I do with Capac, I'm like, man, his voice is so much deeper than mine. Which makes me realize how lucky I am not to edit stuff with wasted in it. That's true, Jex. You'll have to get used to your voice soon enough. The Lego setup is coming together. It's very different when, like, it's just two of you talking, though. You'll probably find it much easier to put up with when you know that I'm probably going to be doing the majority of the talking anyway, as I am used to doing that, given doing stuff with Capac for so long. Everybody sounds fine, but you just have to get used to it, and it takes a long time. I've spent hundreds of hours listening to my own voice. So now I actually don't really hear the difference between what I hear when I'm just talking like this and can hear myself through my open back headphones and what I hear when I'm listening to my recordings. I genuinely just hear both as me. One of the really interesting experiments that I think is kind of fun and related to how you hear yourself is how you see yourself. So a lot of people really don't like how they look in photos, and a lot of that comes down to a lack of familiarity with that perspective. Most of the time when we're looking at ourselves, we're seeing ourselves in a reflection. So we're actually used to everything being flipped. I remember reading about an experiment where they showed people either the camera perspective of themselves or a mirrored version of that, as well as doing it for other people who were like familiar in their lives, you know, famous people, that sort of thing. And there was a quite strong trend toward the familiar being the one that people rated as more attractive. So if you're feeling a lack of confidence about your photos, just flip them horizontally and then see how you feel. Thanks, Orsa. Thanks for a year. Alright, last block. And some driving. And I'm right at this point regretting not taking note of what angles I set the wheels to before. These might have been 10.
Fuel low.
Oh,
Fuel critical.
that was close. That was real close. That little hop at the end was actually be running out of fuel. If your rovers aren't crashing, you aren't driving them to your fullest, to their fullest. There's some truth there. Okay. Let's drop this down. Apparently, it's heavy. There's that other piston. Let's lose you too. And let's drive. Okay. Need a lot more suspension strength. A lot more height offset. Think about that's right. Drive over the giant hole. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to destroy the bottom of this again. Because I really haven't added that much clearance, have I? I've just made my rover bigger, that's all. Oh well. I don't need cobalt. I don't need iron. Still hoping I find silver somewhere. Yeah, exactly, Lohan. Whoop. Whoop. Stop. Turret. Stop. Stop. I don't want you to shoot my grid. Ah. Crawling around at 4 meters a second. Like, I would have bottomed out on that before. On that tiny little thing just there. So it is better. This terrain doesn't look like where I want to be. What the? Oh, right. Tree. kind of want to go back to the ice because I still have a fair bit of ice. Ooh, that's a narrow hole. Guess if we drive toward the sun, we'll get a little bit more daylight and I might have a chance at finding some silver. I should turn all markers on. Makes it easier for searching. So now I have to press Alt to see what the ore is when I spot one. The suspensions are just making a noise. They're fine. Silicon. Nickel. $43 meters a second. And a 2 million kilogram rover. Something about this seems, let's say dangerous. Oh, no. How am I going to get across that chasm? No. Oh, gold. Already got gold, though. Still needs silver. Should mark this, though. Thanks, Asdraz Sengivan. And guess I'll just drive this way and see if I can find a way around. Cobalt, iron. It's been weeks now that I've been wanting to find silver for this. I don't need gold right now. I've actually got a moderate amount of it. I did. Yeah, 436 kilos of gold. Can't remember how much you need for a refinery from when I was doing those speed runs. Oh, the scrapey. The scrapey. Much scrape. Much scrape. Oops. Oh, what did I damage doing that? Oh. Oh. How? This is what I mean. I think... Like, how? How does that even... How is that the block that got damaged? Thanks, he who types. Thanks for the 300 bits. Yes, it is a good thing I don't require insurance in this. I would be in trouble. I damaged all my... No, just that one. So, I was feeling really good about this stream this morning because I hadn't actually damaged the Rover yet. How long was I driving before that happened? 5 minutes? So glad Catmac and Wasted weren't here yet. I don't know how the pipe in the ceiling got damaged. I don't know how the refinery got damaged. Like, there's so much stuff here, and yet, doesn't make sense. Imagine if I had the little Rover already. There'd be nothing left. So this was exactly the point I was making earlier, which is block deformation causing damage to other blocks. Not fixed. Still busted. In fact, it seems like there's propagation of damage rather than deformation causing the damage, because these don't deform, and yet these are damaged. But yeah, anyway. I should have, like, the bit that I drove over was pretty dumb to drive over. It's because I was looking in the control panel while I was driving, which is a bad habit I have, and I still do, and I know I shouldn't do, but I'm still probably going to keep doing. Yeah, don't text and drive. I'm a good advertisement for that. In fact, any situation where you see the so-called streamer blindness is a good advertisement for why you shouldn't text and drive. They're dangerous. See, people, this is why I was saying space is easy mode. Space, you don't have all these things to run into. See you, Pam Nutrition. Yeah, Tommaso, you can do unusual suspension setups like mounting your wheels on hinges to try and get yourself more ground clearance. Um, my experience with most of them is that you end up lacking power with the wheels that are mounted on those subgrids. Even with the subgrid wheel control script, I feel like you don't get as much out of them as having a simpler setup. It could just be my perception, but I definitely feel like I can't get as far as fast. I wonder if that station has silver. We could roughly head in that direction. Iron, nickel, silicon, and cobalt. Showing up over there. I don't have a destination specifically, Breakmaster. I am trying to find silver. Because I want a medical bay rather than a survival kit. And I want better tools too. Silicon, iron, speed. The thing that you're hearing bouncing around is all the wheels. That's just the noise they make on rough terrain. It's always been that way. I mean, I'm driving at insane speeds. Like 45 meters a second over rough ground in something that weighs this much. That's insane. It's true insanity. But it works, so I'm going to continue doing it. Stupid assert base. Why'd you have to be there? In front of me. More cobalt. Um... 45 meters a second. I can't do quick maths. 45. That was numlock not on. 45 times. Uh-oh. Okay, that hill's okay. 45 times 60. Oh, it's 45 times 6. 45 times 3600. Yeah, it's like 160 kilometers an hour. That's fast. Whoa! That tree stopped me. Is there actually a proper ore distribution map on Pertum where things change dependent on the terrain? Or is it random? Do I have to go into the mountains to find silver? 'Cause if so, then I need to make the mini rover sooner rather than later. Because I know that the other planets, there's no difference. You can find stuff, same stuff everywhere. But I've never looked closely enough at Pertum to see what it does. No, the everyone. If bases aren't spawning and you've got other mods, particularly other NPC mods, it's probably them. Like, you're just random chance of not getting the bases. But if anyone's playing around with modular encounters, spawner mods that have fixed facilities, you have to be moving around for them to spawn. The spawn trigger is based on distance traveled and threat score for a lot of them these days. So if you don't have enough threat and you don't move around enough, you will not get bases. But if you've got other mods, really your only test is go back to square one and try it with none. And if it works then it's one of the other mods breaking it. Thanks, Azrael. Glad you've been enjoying it. I have too. Yes, Edric, that is also a good one. This command /mes.gesap, which is get eligible spawns at position, will send to clipboard a list of all the spawns that are present. So if you open up Notepad or Notepad++ or something like that and paste the results in there, you will see what is eligible to spawn. If it's eligible, then you just haven't waited long enough, if you haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty sure threat score is just based on what's built. Also, I can't see, so I'm gonna stop moving. Let's be smart for once, Splitsy. Let's not move. Bad. Cool. Got so much more room now. Rover's gonna need a big rework, I think. But let's get these walls built. Yeah, I suppose I could start thinking about this Scout Rover. It's just with how much damage I just did before, I would like to get at least these ones around the cargo container completed. So travel just means literally moving around. Like me walking around like this is movement. It's just those little movements don't tend to add up as quickly as me just having traveled 10 Ks to get to where I am right now. The default, I think, is still every 6 kilometers traveled will try and trigger a spawn. Doesn't mean you'll get a spawn, but it'll try and find an area that it can spawn. The other thing is, if you're in mountains, you're not getting bases, because there'll be no valid spawn location. The ground has to be flat enough. True, TFE, you can change all that stuff, but I figure that's less helpful in this context for me to go down that sort of length than just trying to get people to figure out what's going wrong in the first place. Charlie. I suppose I should fill up that oxygen that's been low for a while. Is that coming through on the mic that Charlie's going?
Your health is low. Your health is critical.
It's so cute. The little sleep yips. Especially such a small bark coming from such a big dog. There's O2 on this planet, it's just not during the storms. Come on. Do you know what building with heavy armor has taught me? Don't build with heavy armor. Unless you've got someone to help you weld it up. Oof. Yeah, I don't know if heavy armor really helped me at all. But it's a thing now. Right. I will want a connector at the bottom level. Which means we grab that out. Is there a spot I can pull the cargo down from? But back here. Nothing on that road. Maybe. Nope. Okay. Alright, let's try this. And I'm going to use conveyor blocks, not cargo containers this time. Because what I'm thinking is if I go down, 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 and across to here, and then run a line of conveyors all the way along. Then a connector. And then walk along the top of those conveyors. That should work. Yeah, mate. You know what? Yeah, let's do this. I'm not going to do this today, but I'm genuinely curious. I'm going to turn off the meat shields vote. Should I try the AI-enabled helper bot mod? Yep. Yes. Yes, but not this series. No. And for those of you who watch this as a VOD, feel free to post comments about this as well. I figure this is the right series to mess with this stuff, but I'll leave that answer in there as well. I'll give you guys a few minutes to answer that one. I would like to, at some point, mess around with it. I'm just not sure when I want to do that. No, Emeralds, I do not want to push this up a block. I have a reason for it being at this height. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. I haven't messed with it myself. I haven't even really watched anyone mess with it. When AI enabled first became a thing, I tested out one of the really early builds. and I really love the concept. I use the AI-enabled stuff for the supporter sessions that I sometimes do, which I need to do another one of soon. Where we do like a final stand sort of thing, where the bots are assaulting us, but I've never used the helper one. But yeah, I'd probably just be... I think they're a much more balanced concept than build and repair or nanites or whatever, because they actually exist in the world. I guess that's kind of the idea of playing around with them, is seeing whether they actually are. I've played enough and watched enough done with build and repair to know that to me it doesn't make the gameplay the way I like, so I don't use it. Here we go. So the reason the conveyor line is down here is because then I can walk across it with my ladder rather than me having to walk underneath. Also, a small rover that fits in this space is almost certainly not going to have a connector up at this height. So the connector has to be down low, which means the conveyor line has to be at the height of the connector. If I want to be able to walk down here, I need an entirely clear space. So that was the only way the conveying could have been done. And that's why I did it as conveying, not cargo, because if I put cargo down here, it'd get destroyed. How's the poll going? Oh, 60 votes yes, 6 yes, but not this series, and 3 no. That's pretty strong in favor of testing it here. Which makes sense, because I do think it's the right way to do it. I don't know, I feel like I could name the bots after the bots in Wrong Way Up as a bit of an homage. Space Explorer space starts are easy, but there's a mod that I've been helping test recently that might well change that. So maybe I'll do a space start when that mod is properly released and ready to go. Yeah. Seriously, Krasil? Wasted named one after me. Oh, he misses me. Yes, well played, Laws. Yes, he misses me well with his ping, but his aim is improving. Ah, that's the thing I hate about these stairs. They don't work when you're on a slight tilt. It looks so neat, though. But we'll probably leave it anyway. I'm not going to put anything across the middle, so I want it to be open so I can walk down onto the Rover if it suits. I just thought this looked nice. There you go. And then let's get a light down here. Oh, I can drive again. Yeah, let's keep doing this. I'm enjoying doing this bit. We can search for silver in a little bit. So down here, I might use interior lights because they look a bit more industrial.
Energy critical.
So, just got asked why not use the catwalk that has the railing built in. I will show you, because it doesn't work for this setup. Because that's the one with the railing built in. Notice the problem. It has 2 extra railings I don't want. Well, 1 extra that I don't want. I wouldn't mind the one off to the one side, but the other one would block me from actually walking around. So that's why you use the empty catwalk and the separate railing. Because then I can, well, if I was on flat ground, I could walk up here. Oh, actually, that might be the problem. Oh. This is that's the issue, not the stairs. No, it's the stairs. But the other thing was still not helping. So I have to walk upstairs. No, the space is not taken up with the stairs. The stairs are a single cube. They just have parts of their model that extends into other block spaces. But yes, the way I did it is the only way you can do it with the vanilla pieces. I'm confident of this. So yeah, this stair only occupies this cube right here. It doesn't occupy the one that this railing is on. And the railing attaches to that catwalk. The reason I didn't use the full width stairs is because I wanted the half ones, because they look really neat with the way that I've done these walls. It just looks cool. It'll probably look even better once I turn them into, whatchamacallit? Orange, because they're meant to be orange. Yeah, Azrael, it is kind of nice how it fits together. That's why as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah. As impractical as this is, I'm still doing it. Because I still like it. Morning, speaking of the bots. There's no option to widen the garage. The garage is as big as it can be. That's about right. Whoops. Fell off. No, it's not a modded sorter. It's a vanilla one. The sorter that's on there. It's the pipe one. From these things. It's one of the DLC ones. One would think you'd have by now a mod that sets default. Oh! Oh! Oh, XE1. I'd never even thought... Hang on. Is there a way we can modify what the light defaults are? Relatively easily? Huh. There's a way to mod that. I'd totally make that mod. Never noticed where those default settings are. where they're kept. Because for interior lights and passageways and stuff, I would probably set them to be a default radius of like 8 meters with a default intensity lower than what I've got here. Yeah. And the color. My slight off-white that I prefer. Yeah, I've never come across where that's defined. I presume there is a file somewhere that defines it, but I've never come across it. I'm gonna write this down because I'm gonna forget about this if I don't. Go to my ideas Discord. Where should I put it? See if there's an easy way to modify the default settings for most lights. Now I'm getting name suggestions. Default in our stars. Dimly yours. It's just in the cubeblock.spc file near the bottom. Huh. Color defaults can't be changed though, it seems. Oh. That's less helpful. Heisen's Bane. Yeah, I know a script can do it all, but I don't want a script. I want to see... I'd like if I could make a simple mod that defaulted the lights to a more reasonable default, then whenever I'm playing with Capac, the lights would be a reasonable default. That'd be fantastic. Blaringly obvious. Ooh, I like that one, Awesome Tomaso. Because it should have been an obvious mod to me. I'm putting that one down. Alright. Anywhere I put my landing gear on these things. Might not build up on... actually, I do kind of want to build on the surface of this. Landed reasonably straight. Fine. Okay, so I was talking about hinged wheel mounts. Do I really want it? Yeah, what the heck. I was talking about it, so I'm going to have to do it. Even though I realized I could do even symmetry and have it all work anyway. So the idea here is hopefully I can angle these hinges down enough that when it's inside this area, they can be kind of pointed downward in a V, and then when I come out, so I'll be quite top heavy as I'm reversing in. But once I'm in and locked down, like once I go out, I can spread them out again and get a much wider wheelbase that's a bit more stable. That's the concept. I'm not sure it's going to work. But it's amusing enough to try, I think. Do I have enough room in here to do this, though? Yes. Turns out I do. It already looks ridiculous. And that's about how high it's going to have to go. I don't think this is going to work. I think I might... One of the problems I hadn't really accounted for with setting up the wheels hinged like this is that adds an extra 2 blocks to the central part of the vehicle. You're gonna need... Like, that's potentially gonna make it too wide to comfortably work like this. Only options by default in the SPC are radius, intensity, and fall off. However, color data can be added using color mask. Thank you, Wasted! Alright. Let's grab that and copy that into my thing because I want to make this mod. See if I can get it to work. Also, I just realized I was supposed to, when I do these streams before our co-op streams, be in TeamSpeak for when the other guys are ready to go and do the RimWorld. Hey, the Burgundy Bagel. That's quite a fun name to say. 2 offset pistons. I think that'd still end up with a wheelbase that's too wide to even fit in here. Well, actually... Huh. I'm going to keep going with this. But yeah, you could have an asymmetrical wheelbase with pistons. So if you were to, like if I wanted to make a wider wheelbase, I could put down a 3x3 like this. and then put down a piston mounted on it. Like this. Which still gives me the narrow enough wheelbase to fit in, but then I can widen my wheelbase. Sure, all my mass will be on one side, but I can widen my wheelbase for driving around. Ah, that could totally work. Be totally stupid, but it could totally work. Also, how's it going, Wasted? I hear you missed me so much that you named a bot after me. Or was it that you keep having issues with the bots, so you just assumed you may as well call one after me? You mean the useless kid that's standing in a field 2 kilometers from the base? Hey, that's how... I'd argue the point, but I feel like that would prove the point. Morning, Capac. In chat. Say hello to chat, Capac.
What? Who's chat, Capac?
My chat, say hello, Capac.
Are they doing it?
I don't know. I'm so confused by this conversation already.
Well, we're off to a good start then.
Yeah, my chat's saying hello. They're even saying hello, chat pack.
Ah.
Or is it chat? Or is it like French for cat? Cat pack.
What?
Chat pack. It's spelled the same as the French spelled cat.
Oh, yeah. It is true.
Le
I guess
chat.
cats talk more in France. I guess you'd be doing the space engineering of some kind.
I am right now, yes. I am doing that until you guys are ready to go with some more RimWorld.
What's been happening in the latest adventures of the Cyan Wonder?
I'm currently building a vehicle that it would be probably something you'd try to build.
Gyrocopter.
Well, if you look at my stream, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. All of its wheels are on hinges.
And it lives in a coffin. It's a vampire car.
Sure. Let me place it. Oh. Oh.
Are you too close?
No, I think the wheel suspensions have a bigger hitbox, so you can't place it in there. Well, that doesn't work.
That might be because they're on an angle. Might be able to place it when they're straight out.
True. I'm kind of stuck without the power source though, so I'll just mash it on top. It's probably best not to have it on the bottom anyway.
Energy low.
Yeah, that I feel like Capac agrees with you there, Weston, and I also agree. But, oh well.
Oh.
Because of where I built it, I'm stuck. For now, anyway. I could fix it. I kind of just want to test to see if this thing even works. Like, I hope it will.
Looks like a bit like an anteater.
What cockpit do I want to use? I think I want to use one of the Rover ones. upset people with the asymmetry. And then I also need to have an ore detector on here, and a script. Programmable block, and... where's my ore detector at? Yes, a gyro is probably useful too.
Fuel low. Fuel critical.
Now I wonder if this can actually get low enough to now hook up to that connector, since I've actually made it sit really, really high. Yes, some lights would probably be useful too. I have no idea how badly this is going to handle. What? Time to drop off. As it immediately starts jiggling around. Actually.
You're gonna be able to get out of there while it's folded up?
Yeah, it should. I think. I honestly don't know, actually, Kamak.
Critical.
This is not a style I've done before. Oh.
It's about to go without you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh, no.
Another successful launch.
I mean, it survived. So there's that. Gyroscope would be useful at this point.
Can you write it with just the hinges?
I don't think so.
I think you probably could.
Well, they don't have the angles of articulation required to make that work, do they?
Like a little turtle.
Weirdest dry dock launch ever. True.
You know, because you've done this, everybody knows you're a replicant now.
That. Stop distracting me. I'm trying to do things quickly. I'm failing.
Yeah, well, you'll be failing even more when a Blade Runner comes after you.
Whoa! Okay, that didn't work.
That's one angry turtle.
Hmm. Nuts. No, the trouble is, like, how could these hinges possibly be used to right it? Because they can't get under it. They just kind of tap it onto the ground. There's no... Yeah. Ay. Still need to roll it over. What I need to do, though, is repair this battery. Oh, no, the battery's fine. Is probably set these to be more horizontal. So there's a larger platform for it to land on. And let's build another gyroscope. And that'll probably work. I think this should maybe get it right up. I don't know whether I should build on the other wheels now or after. No. Probably now, so it has something more to land on. No, let's just flip it. Come on. Come on, Gyro. You can do it. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it! Here. Now we need a piston. It does look a bit like a field cannon set up like this. So, Kabak, do you think we're going to replace your other remaining organic limb this week in RimWorld?
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out.
See when Wasted wants to start?
Well, okay. I guess there's a few things that need to happen. But I am effectively RoboCop, as it is.
It's true.
So I could get like a cybernetic eye, and that would make like RoboCop.
I wonder if Wasted's a good enough doctor to give you a cybernetic eye without chopping off your head.
Need a sweet heads-up display. That's always my top priority in a top-down management game.
Seems like it.
Oh boy, gonna have to ban Lowen from the chat. He says he doesn't like the original RoboCop. Permaban.
Can't ban people just because they don't like the same thing as you. Especially in my chat. You can do that in your own if you want. I mean, you'd have to ban me from your chat.
What? Have you even seen the original RoboCop?
I'm not talking about Robocop. There are plenty of things that you like that I don't. Marvel, for example.
Well, wrong.
There's too much, and I can't be bothered. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that just means you haven't seen the good one.
Actually, on the topic of your chat, Kabak, you should really add me as an editor to your channel so I can do things for you during your streams. Sometimes.
Have you done that?
No. You're an editor on mine, but I'm not on yours.
Yeah.
So I can't, like, add emojis for you and stuff like that.
Oh, but yeah, editor and moderator.
And why doesn't it let me do... What does editor even give you then?
I don't know. I can't even give you any other roles.
Yeah, no. If you've given me that, then I actually don't know if there are other roles to give.
There's moderator, VIP, and there's editor.
Yeah, and I think editor is, like, the top level. In terms of permissions. Huh. Actually, you know what? Since these have hinges, let's make the lower limit 5 degrees. Just for fun. Just for funsies. Upper limit should be 45. Hey, thanks, dear zombie.
I don't know if I remember watching RoboCop 3. One and 2 were good, but I think somebody warned me at 3. I avoided it.
You taking someone's advice?
Hey, I take advice all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I really need to add those lights I was adding.
I mean, jetpacks and samurai robots are both really... should have worked.
Yeah, that should be your thing.
That's interesting.
What is going on with this thing?
It's alive. It's a real turtle.
It's real weird. And steering off. Steering off.
Oh, you're having to use some like script or something to the steering, right?
Yeah, and the driving. Yep.
Are all the hinges on the right angle?
They're all at 5 degrees. But for some reason the rear ones are not sitting as low.
Yeah.
5 degrees though.
What about the front ones?
12 and a half. I guess what I should do is set the velocity to go slightly up, but then set the torque lower. So it acts as suspension. If I set the torque, let's go 10,000. Let's try that. Because the hinges can then effectively be suspension. Although I probably need the torque to be a bit higher. This is weird.
That doesn't look right.
uh, it's so wonky. I kind of love it. But what I need to do is do what I like to do with these, which is set the rotation speed to something nice and low. So it's more like a whatchamacallit thingy. Lighthouse. That's not the gyro. Isn't the gyros? I wasn't even moving. This is literally just me steering with keyboard. I think what I need to do is possibly increase the lift on the hinges at the back. So if I name these hinge rear. Whoop.
Ooh, I combined those two messages in the chat into one message. So it was about an episode of RoboCop getting trashed and then upgraded with pontoons with wheels on them.
Okay. Oh, that's starting to lift it. Let's try that. I mean, it drives.
I feel like it's got to be the slight angle of wheels that's causing some of the problems.
Well, it shouldn't be as bad as you think, because wheels in Space Engineers are perfect spheres.
But even with that, the axis of motion...
Yeah, it'll be slightly off. I'm kind of tempted to switch over to the other idea that people suggested to me, which was to put the second row of wheels on pistons, so I push them out to give myself a wider wheelbase once I park, once I drive out of the parking lot. Because yeah, this is fun. I'm not going to deny that, but it is not a good vehicle.
What if it was like 6 wheels and the center wheels weren't working as suspension, but the front and back wheels were?
Huh? They all need to be on hinges so that I can lift them up so that I can fit back into my parking spot.
Yeah, but the middle wheels you limit to a smaller range, and you have a wider range on the front and back. Because at the moment, your buggy keeps doing that weird crab walking thing where it gets up on stilt.
Yeah, but it'd still do that if there were other ones, because it'd just lift those off the ground, wouldn't it?
Oh.
I think it would.
Maybe you need to add some more weight to it so it compresses the suspension more?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's almost too light to work with this setup. Which makes it really, really twitchy. What if you rotated all the wheels to port 90 degrees and called it the Why Not Zoidberg? And we'd have to get that sound in the game.
Drive everywhere sideways. Get some little forearms on the top.
Whoa. Like, I've got plenty of resources because, yeah, I think this one we call a failed project, but a fun one.
How are you going to get it back in?
Well, I have to get back on board and I have to lower the suspension and be parked on somewhere a bit more flat, not a hill. But I don't think I'm too worried about this one getting back in because I don't think it's going to be the one I keep. As fun as it is. Given this is meant to be a... Whoa! Oh. That's an advantage. Or not. Or not.
Well, that's some way of dealing with the problem.
Yep. Yeah, Gruz, it might have worked better if the wheels front were locked front to back and there was like a single hinge rather than a pair of hinges. So that it's side to side. Basically, I think for space engineers and the masses involved,
Inventory
this kind
full.
of has too many moving parts. Indeed, Jax, it did commit backspace. Why did you bring me into this world? I'm a monster.
Frankenstein's buggy.
Yeah. I don't know where the other bits went, and it's real dark, and I can't see them. Oh well. Is Mr. Space almost ready to go? Oh yeah, here we go. Do. Given this is meant to be a... Whoa! Oh. That's an advantage. Or not. Or not. Hearing your chuckle start there, Capac. So much boom. It was too pretty for this world. Oh, my thrusters are on. That's not good. That's been burning a lot of power for a while. Not optimal.
Optimal.
Capac laughs that hard whenever something goes tragically wrong for me, much as I laugh that hard whenever something goes tragically wrong for him. Is that... Do you agree with that, Capac?
Yeah, there's other circumstances as well.
Yeah, but those are the two most common, aren't they?
Right around these parts, maybe.
Yeah. We find much pleasure, much enjoyment from the... I guess it's mostly when one of us is being slightly overconfident and then it goes sideways. It's like... it sucks to be you. Oh, that's what's going on.
Oh, I watched the clip of the hold still catback moment from yesterday,
Yeah.
and the timing on it is absolutely amazing.
The clip Capac is talking about is a bit of a spoiler, but I think it's fine. It is this.
It's
Halo
unrelated
suffers
to
from
plot.
all modern media suffers from these days, where the writing is just not good, and they go for shock value more than. Oh, what was that?
Ow.
What's happening? I just
Halo suffers from all modern media suffers from these days, where the writing is just not good, and they go for shock
that
value
didn't capture the full
more than,
context though. So
oh,
Yeah, but he's
oh,
talking
yeah.
about shock value in media, and then
Yeah.
that happens.
yeah. Just doing flashy things. Capture the audience's short attention instead of coming up with a good story. Catback explodes.
Yes. Yes. That's you. That's your. Like it or not, Capac, that's your job.
No, I do other things too.
I mean, yeah, you do stuff that deliberately irritates me. You come up with weird ways to do things that sometimes reveal a hidden brilliance that you try your best not to show people, and other times is meant to annoy me.
Sometimes both.
It's true. Sometimes both.
Yep, that's a good point. Situationally appropriate driving.
Situationally appropriate driving.
Like when there's a sweet cliff to ramp off. That's just an interesting orange color you've chosen to. I hesitate to say compliment the teal.
What? You don't like it?
I mean, I don't disapprove.
It probably should be a bit more yellow, shouldn't it?
Yeah, a bit
It's
more
a bit too
yellow.
reddish brown.
Yeah.
I think the actual color is a bit more yellow. It's just in the that particular armor pattern.
Yeah. I think needs to be a bit more like the connector yellow.
I think the connector yellow is too desaturated, though. I don't know. Oh yeah, my slightly yellow lighting will throw it off too.
You go for purple. Purple goes best with tea.
Yeah, can do, but I didn't want to go all cool colors. I wanted something warm and bright.
You can go warm purple. It's just got more red in it.
Hmm. Yes, the warm lighting does make it more comfortable. Yeah, so I've pretty much spent this entire stream lifting my Rover up just to create that space underneath.
Huh?
The wheels used to be 2 blocks higher.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But it's still really quite low set, so it's fine. I can't really do much while it's nighttime. I guess I can try and have another crack at the start of that Rover while we're waiting on Wasted.
Is that the plan? Are you just going to keep expanding it like further and further upwards?
No, my plan is this is as big as it's going to get, and I'm going to finish it in this shell. I just wanted to be able to actually drive over some small mounds, which I could not do with how wide and low it was before. Because the wheels were 5 meters further apart. It just meant that I was clipping every little mound that I went over. Which doesn't really work. Yeah, and I gave it a lift kit. I lifted the whole thing.
Next, you could add some of the fancy suspension and the cucaracha horn.
Sure. Alright, let's try what I was actually thinking. Something should work. Nope, not that one. That one. Ah, no. Let's do it that way. That's what I wanted. So this will easily fit inside. Doesn't need to have all the subgrids and should hopefully still work. If we go for... kind of need the battery to be in the middle to keep the mass right, but I might have to go with small batteries. Do engine. Oh, they're 3 wide as well. Yeah, the engine would have to be mounted that way. That doesn't work. So I'm thinking cockpit toward the, obviously toward the front. But I want to try and get the mass pretty low and centered on this. So the cockpit's fairly light. So I don't want to put the battery too far back. I want the battery kind of in the floor. So I'm tempted to just use all small batteries on this. Just make kind of a little bed of them.
Fuel low. Fuel critical.
Sounds uncomfortable.
A bed of batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Nothing worse than getting a D battery wedged somewhere uncomfortable.
Yep. Imagine that'd be quite awkward under your shoulder blade. Yeah, I'm tempted still to do a hydrogen engine on this, but see how this goes. With a battery bed, I imagine you'd wake up fully charged. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I probably should have made this frame out of heavy armor.
That's what I've been doing wrong.
What?
I just need to install a huge inductive charging coil in the base of my bed.
I don't think... I wonder if that'd be bad for you.
Probably be warm.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine the heat wouldn't be great for you. But, like... How strong a magnetic field do they induce?
Not very strong.
Sorry. Not very strong.
No.
Because I know with a properly strong magnetic field, you can do things like turn off parts of people's brains.
But which parts?
Depends which parts you want to target with the fMRI.
The annoying parts.
Which are the annoying parts to you?
But that tells me to stop goofing around and go do something useful.
So now the bit that I'm gonna hate. The connector. Is there a 2x2 connector mod? Just so that this doesn't have to be off.
But you could do a sideways facing connector.
Yeah, but the large grid one will never be able to lock to that.
That one won't, but you could change the position of
Use a
where the
hinge.
connector on the base is placed.
Would use a hinge.
Wait, what's using a hinge gonna do?
You'll see. It'll mean it's not sticking off the back. It can lie on the top, which means it'll look less wonky. Maybe. Or it'll look worse. I don't know.
Oh, you know, you could, with a double hinge, you could position the connector so that it was along the central axis rather than offset.
And then, yes. You could have it like that and then rotate down to being like that.
No, like have the two hinges like off the back, and then turn them both so that the connector is centrally located.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. I think cutback means this. Which I'm going to do, I need to get rid of some of those batteries I just placed.
Well, hey,
Well, because
Free
otherwise
fall
it'll
around
be
it.
hanging too far off the back. The cutback means doing this. Place the other hinge. It's not
you
gonna
have to
like.
make sure you get it. I've found the hinges to be very fiddly. Okay, together recently. Oh.
Like so. And then same with upper limit at 45. That's not quite right. I think it might need to be like 30 degrees. Someone could probably do some maths and figure this out. Oops, that's 30 and 35. Whoops, 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 whoops. That's pretty close. Speaking of pointless builds. Hey, thanks, William Reed. Also, I think I missed Synesthetic. Thanks so much for 2 months. There we go. Nothing looks wrong when you look at it from here.
Well, depending on how you scribble it all, might not even be noticeable.
It is true. It is true. I could probably use plates and stuff to make it hidden.
It is quite high.
It is, but this is also quite off the ground. Because it doesn't have all of its wheels and gyroscopes and all that sort of stuff yet.
I think I need to drop it down.
Yeah, from this one specific angle, it looks amazing. But yes, the conveyor was never going to be piped. It's just there for charging. Why not use a small merge block? That would have been another alternative, like get rid of the connector altogether and put a hinge there and a small merge block. That could have worked.
I mean, it wouldn't be impossible to pipe that. You could back the
Energy
connector
flow.
onto like a...
Yeah, it'd get quite large to pipe it though.
it'd just do like an oxygen generator and then attach the hinge to one of the ports on that.
Yeah, even an oxygen... Yes, but it's like that's still adding an extra meter of length.
Or you
Thanks,
could
Mud
attach...
Operator.
You could attach the
6 months in
hinges
advance.
to a conveyor block off one of the small ports
Sounded
on
really
that.
awkward when I said that. Advance. Went really right up my nose.
Oh
Sorry, Kevin.
yeah.
Yeah. Meh.
Meh.
Bigger, better batteries? Bigger, better batteries. I mean, technically what I could do, because connectors don't need power, is connector this to the base and then detach that hinge. And hook up with the hinge so I don't even need to carry the connector around. Suddenly, Splitsy declared Batman his new nemesis. No, Capac does the Skeletor. I cannot beat Capac's Skeletor.
I haven't practiced Skeletor for a while.
It's still better than mine.
You bumbling boob!
Exactly.
E-Man!
Capac's got some audio issues that, yes, it's clipping. We're gonna fix it at some point. Not sure when. Thanks so much, Meister Lutz. Paying forward the gift you got from Black Shadow with 10 more subs. Thank you very much. Yeah. I think my little Rover is almost ready to go on a test drive. No, Scythe. I think it's quite unlikely that I will ever do alerts. Hey, Wasted. How's it going?
You want some Rover with those batteries?
Yes.
Energy critical.
I mean, just ignore the weird connector. I think I can make it look good in the end. Well, if Wasted's here, he can witness the dropping of the rover, and then we can,
Yeah, it gives me a few moments to do the mod thing.
yeah, go and do some RimWorld. Handbrake on. Drop you off this thing. Sprue. Get some lights. I make the rover much bigger, it's going to be really hard to walk past it. Thanks, Ron West. And thanks, Del Sol. For a gift sub. Kind of want it there. You get all bug-eyed. Yeah. Almost looks cute. I can break off. Whee!
Oh, jeez.
What?
Almost nosedived into the desert.
Yeah, I have gyros though. It'll be fine. It was fine. Would like steering on the rear wheels off though. Another successful birth. This one was more successful than the last though. At least it was intentional. And it is handling much nicer than the last. Got a good deal of power to it, like drive time. Considering I didn't actually charge these batteries, they're just based off their built charge. Cool. It works.
You're gonna have to build a little ramp so you can jump the buggy back into the bigger Rover.
Well, no, my plan is to lower the suspension on the big Rover so I can just drive in.
That's boring.
Well, a ramp would mean that I wouldn't be able to drive the big Rover anymore. Alrighty. Well, now that I've built a Rover that didn't immediately commit backspace, I'm happy with that. Hang around for some more RimWorld with Wasted, myself, and Capac. Capac being the bionic man.
Well,
but
actually,
otherwise,
I'm kind of an anti-Robocop because I'm the only one in the colony that's got social skills.
I will be back with some more Stationeers on Thursday morning. I'm going to be doing some editing tomorrow, so I won't be streaming. But yeah, hang around, because we'll be back with some co-op RimWorld shortly. There's all that, and plenty more to come, and I'll see you then.
Hey up.